You guys came back. It is episode 3, where today we chat to Paul McCole on the High Times miniseries here on the Jibber Jabber podcast. Paul McCole, you guys may remember him from the Limmy show, but we are here to talk to him today about Jimmy from High Times. Jimmy is a huge part of the show. His music pretty much is the sound of High Times. But hey, I'm not going to talk about him too much. We're just going to play the episode. And one thing we'll say is during lockdown, we have had to use Skype. And sometimes the connection's not so great, or the audio in certain areas of the conversation. So if there are parts during this episode where you're like, that was a bum note, then please just bear with us. But this is what you have to do when you're in lockdown. So we do appreciate you guys tuning in. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, it is Paul McCole.
I'm here as well, by the way.
Can't touch the sky. It doesn't mean you shouldn't try. Do you want to fly? Do you want to fly?
One and only Paul McCole. How's lockdown treating you, buddy?
Alright. Although I'm not the one and only, because there's some other guy who's like a kind of faux hip-hop white dude for Ireland, Paul McCole, the hip-hop-opotamus, he calls himself, so I don't ever get us mixed up. Lockdown's treating me okay. There's 6 of us in the house here. I've got 7 of us in the family. So my oldest boy, he lives with his missus, got a wee baby. But there's 4 teenagers here, 3 19-year-olds and an 18-year-old. And I'll tell you what, man, that is fucking murder.
I had a wee word with John Morrison earlier on, and he told me to give you his best. He told me to ask you, ask how the family was, and he went, he's like, do you know Paul's got fucking hunters of wings?
I'm quite well known for it. I know of it. I don't have hunters of wings. Yeah. It's a composite family, you know, like most of them are these days. You know, a previous disastrous marriage, and they were all like blissfully happy. So, John's a top man, a very, very talented musician. So, there's a funny thing about in High Times where I'm like acting like I'm teaching him guitar. But if you look very closely, John's got the big long thumbnail and the fingers of the picker. Like, you have to hide the fingers. I know what they are. I'm a bit of a strummer and stuff. So, John's a great lad with a few mental nights. Well, over the piece, at High Times we had a lot of mad nights, but none more so than when John Morrison was involved.
John Rooney actually told us that he was on the wagon until he went out drinking with the McCole brothers.
Yeah, you know, we got probably true.
Like you were going to try and talk your way out of that, and then just
Just the amount of times I've heard that, you know, and I just wonder, like, not just with John Morrison, but like other people, you know, like getting warned off us and stuff. I'm like, what? Like, I think we're like touring. I like us. I mean, I like Stephen. Most of the time myself a lot of the time, but he's a top lad. So was the podcast you did with Stephen, was that High Times based, or did you just get him on because he's like he's really the famous McCole, isn't he? He's like Rushmore and all that. But I'm going to take credit, right? Because when we were growing up in Castlemilk, I don't know if he mentioned that's where we're from. Screen lads, anytime we're interviewed for a paper and they're like, these guys are dirt. They came from nothing. They're dirt poor, came from Castlemilk. But when I used to go to a wee drama class, acting class in Castlemilk, so I'd have been about 14, maybe 15. And Stephen, there's only 2 years between us. Like, idolised me. Right, I was his idol. So anywhere I went, Stephen would follow. Like, that chagrin. Like, it would really fucking annoy me, man. I'm like, fucking shouting at him nowhere. Terrible. But really close now, by the way. But like, you're young, you're just like, I fucking cramped my style and all that. But I eventually got into the acting stuff, and we did a couple of mad plays with this Castlemilk youth theatre thing.
Yep.
We did Grease. We did
Nice.
Grease. We did Huckleberry Finn. Grease took us 3 years to rehearse, right, up there. Because for different reasons, they shut down the theatres. A couple of really brilliant people ran it. It's a woman called Carol Hoy and Mick, what's Mick? So it looks like Kevin Spacey. None of the similar offences, just like he's a nice, just looked like him. But they kept shutting places down. And so we like started rehearsing this wee community thing of Greece, where all the wee misfits, all the wee in-betweeners for Castlemilk went and did the thing here, and then it got on, we were close to getting this thing on, and then for some reason something would happen, and then it would get, oh no, we're back, we're doing Greece again, and I was Danny Zuko, and
Nice.
I think Stephen was Pudsey, the wee fat one.
He's going to fucking love you for that, like.
That's how he played. And he was
You left that out.
And he was being fat. So we did 3 years. 3 years it took us to put this thing on in Castlemilk, right? And we didn't even sing the songs. We mimed the songs and had wee dance routines and everything. And it was just like a community thing where it was a complete mental disaster. Like, Guy would be playing the wrong songs. Do you know what I mean? Like, Grease Lightning would come on instead of Summer Loving. You're there trying to dig your best as a wee 16-year-old. So, I take a lot of credit for... I don't usually take a lot of credit for where Stephen is and what he's achieved, but I'm going to do it on this. Especially because I have a life beyond him.
Everyone so far that we've spoken to has blown smoke up his ass, so it's about time something pegged him down a bit.
There you go. I love him dearly. He's a genius actor, one of the best in this country, man.
He's absolutely something else, and that's something that's always highlighted as well. So you guys obviously started out then in Castlemilk, and you've done Grease. What kind of led you to... And Stephen actually said to us that he followed you, which is just kind of backs up what you said there. He said he followed you to the audition for High Times, yeah?
Well, I think, man, it might have worked out that way, because High Times, I didn't get back into acting until I was like nearly 29, maybe. Mm-hmm. I worked in the railway for quite a long time, but I was learning. It was this brilliant Coppersmith.
So you really worked then?
Well, I worked on the Cali up in Springburn, but I was learning guitar off this amazing guy, Jim Campbell, his name was, and just sat behind these machines, and I'd hear the guitar ringing out. I'd always kind of dabbled, but never really gave it a lot of time and effort. And then I heard this guy who had a job, but could also play beautiful guitar. And I was like kind of inspired by that. I'm like, it's people make music that aren't in bands and everything. So I used to get into his machine, and then I was kind of where he's like, you can get these things, get books, get tabs, find a couple of songs. He just had a really lovely, easy way of sort of teaching you. So I get paid off. I lost my job there. People were always losing their jobs in the Cali, man. It's amazing. It's just shut down recently, so all the best to the boys for there. But I went to college. I went to Langside and I did a year. So I was nearly 30, and there's all these 16-year-olds running about singing and dancing about going for a pie and beans at lunchtime, man. I was at my depth. I thought, this isn't really for me. It kind of happened to me when I was young as well. I was doing the Castlemilk stuff, acting and that, and I went to a thing at the Scottish Youth Theatre, and I was just, my mind was blown with the eccentricity of these kids, and I just thought, that's not for me. That's just mental. These people are obviously on something I've not heard of them. Do you know what I mean? There's like the proper theatrical young people, and I wasn't like that. I was like a big theatrical person in a scheme. I was hot shit up the road. Do you know what I mean? Then I got here and I'm like, these people have obviously come out of the room pirouetting or something. They're like just proper actors and like accents and all that. And I'm like, oh my god, no, I'm out of here. So it took me a long time to get back in it. 29, lost my job. Audition for I'll give it a go. If I don't do it now, I never will. Mm-hmm. And went alongside, got in. Again, I'm like, oh, I'm not sure if this is for me. Loved all the acting stuff. Loved getting to do it, but they just said, you know, a mature student thing wasn't really working for me. So I left after a year, I think a year and a bit. But still wanting to be an actor. So I got in a job centre. Used to have job centres, proper job centres at the time. And these schemes for unemployed people and everything, I'd go, I want to be an actor. I'm like, shut up, man. Shut up. I'm like, no, I want to be an actor. Kept going in. Right. Look at there's other jobs. You don't come to the job centre to say that. Really, my naivety was so kind of. But I think maybe I thought, well, if I keep saying that, they'll not make me work. They'll just keep giving me brew money to actually make it as an actor. And this one day, it happened to be a thing for a theatre company based in Govan called Govan Theatre Works. And it was run by a guy called Robin Wilson. It'd been run for years and years. A lot of like decent people had worked with Robin. They'd worked with like Robert Carlyle, whether it was at uni or whatever. Do you know what I mean? But it had this wee sort of theatre company for like misfits. And it was somebody there I knew as an actor, Coral, and I was like, I'm kind of comfortable here, and he was doing interesting things, and I'm not in an environment that wasn't like college, you know. It was, and so it kind of worked for me. I got into it, but the resident writer there was John Rooney.
Yes,
the one and only John Rooney. So we kind of hit it off, and he had this short film in the works. I think it had been commissioned. So he had Blackout, had been commissioned, and he said to me, "Oh, you'd be fucking great for Jake." And I was like, "Oh, fucking hell, this is magic. This is how it happens, man. You walk up, you bump into people, and like, you're the guy for that." And that was that. I think John was aware of Stephen. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He obviously knew who he was. And so we auditioned and all that. And I think it was down to like me and Alan McCarthy for Jake and that. So he said, I'm not sure if that's the truth, right? Because Alan's bloody, he was miles ahead of me at that time. A genius actor, I think. And so he got that, but there's other wee parts. Me and Kevin Kelly play like the furniture removal guys. And all that. So that's the first thing I did, really. It's the first thing I did on film. So I'm kind of shitting myself the whole way through it. Like acting wall and all that.
You know, see that scene, by the way, that scene literally had me howling. I was actually watching that as my missus was sleeping next to me, and must have been about 12 at night, and I'd stumbled across Blackout, right? And I was like, oh, what the hell? I was like, this must be something I've not seen, because I thought I'd binged it all 12 times, right? And then I watched it, right? But see that scene, and it's your face as well, with the door shut and the couch goes away, and then it comes back and it's an old shagged up couch. I was pissing myself. It's like your face pretty much said, it's almost like you expected, of course that's going to fucking happen, and you almost just look disappointed in yourself that you let it happen.
It's like cuts back, me and Kevin Kelly are rolling about, you know. Bunch of talking to each other. But that was the genius in the writings, like moments like that, you know what I mean? The couch and all that, and like such a brilliant writer, John, and it was clear to see that. So I was really chuffed to be a part, just a wee part of it. You know? And Alan was so right for him and Stephen. Great chemistry, you know. I can look back now and more experience as an actor. I was disappointed, but I probably wouldn't have done it justice at the time, you know. It was so kind of fresh to it all and worried about it. And like I'm not trained or anything. So I think Alan was a good call.
So did you kind of have your heart set on then playing Jake?
Well, it just like when John had said to me, because we were working together, with Government Theatre Works, you'd be great for this character. And I totally, I get it. It would have been a very different Jake. Do you know what I mean? I think there's a beauty in that nervous energy that Alan brings to Stephen's sort of laconic, laid back rap. You know what I mean? It just works, man. It's Laurel and Hardy, you know what I mean? You put two actors together and you let that chemistry happen. And it's a tried and tested formula, but if you get it right, do you know what I mean? And we got it absolutely spot on with
and then we got to see you as Jimmy, which, by the way, is a huge part of the show. Like, because you got your character. You know, I mean, you got your character, but then you pretty much close out every episode of that show with your voice, right? Think about that.
Oh, I do. I didn't know that was going to happen. I didn't know that was going to happen.
How did that kind of? John Rooney told us that he had the idea for Jimmy, but after finding that you could play music and write music, he kind of factored that into the character. So you brought that to Jimmy, you know. So how did that kind of come about?
Well, I've been dabbling, writing songs, and there's we were at a party, me, Stephen, a good pal of ours, his flat, we were in quite often, and there might have been another couple of us, and we were pretty far gone this night in particular. I don't know how much can I say on this, man?
Anything you want.
I'm not going to lose a job, am I? Because I'm not even furloughed, man. I'm like, I'm an actor. I'm fucking scrap heap. There's nothing. There's no money. There's no fuck all. Right. So I'm going to talk for myself here. Right. The implicating area, but this night in particular, our friends, we were very, very high. Right, very high. But as we like to do back in the day, a long time ago now, doesn't happen anymore. But
so defensive.
there was these things we indulged in this night. I'm fanning about with a guitar, and we're all minging. And I had started singing out this, oh, you gotta be careful when you come up on smiling faces. And I was going, oh, that's good, man. So I was encouraged through each kind of line by just a fucking madness in the house. People were, I fucking know how to write that, man.
Do you know what that's just like? That's just like, wrong way, down a one-way street.
Aye. I know, it sounds like I'm trying to do it. I mean, that's terrible, isn't it?
No, but hey.
Right, so the people are saying, I can sing that song. So I kind of, it all stuck, which was a weird thing for me to happen. I kind of fannied about and tried to write stuff. And I was like, oh, that's a nice wee song. That's got a nice wee progression. It's hooky. And then I auditioned. And a good friend of mine, Davey Mackay, who was like, part of the reason I got into acting was Davey was, I don't know if you're aware of the kids programme Stookie.
Aye.
So Stookie was on in the 80s, right? And Davey Mackay's the cast. Well, played this wee kind of football player, always wore a Celtic top. I don't know bring football into it, but I was a kind of Celtic boy. I went to my school and all that, and I'm like, it's fucking awesome, man. That's boy act, and that's what kind of dragged me into it. And then he directed half of the episodes, the first series and half on the second.
Yep.
So I auditioned with Davey, came in for the audition and all that, and he was like fucking energy, man. What? Fucking yes, so I can do this now. I'll improv me, and he's fucking improvising like fuck, man. He's an acting fucking powerhouse. I'm like, what the fuck? I had the songs and stuff, so I'll fucking let you hear this song. So I gave him a wee bit of smiley faces and stuff, and he loved that. So I might have had a part to play. I might have thought, this guy can write songs, but it was never. It just like, can we use that? I had no idea about like money or anything. Do you know what I mean? Or, like, I probably should have been paid a hefty chunk for writing and being on at the end, but I never really got any money for that. But I probably got me the part, so I'm forever grateful for that. And then we recorded it just in a wee booth. They like studio it, and I just bring your guitar and do that thing. And so we'll have a sort of recorded version. Never mentioned that it was going to be in the end, the credits.
Right.
And then we went to screenings, and Davey was all excited. He had this kind of under his hat. We were good mates, Davey and I. We worked together loads since then. And then it comes up at the end credit, you gotta be careful. My wee voice and the guitar, and I was just like, oh, I'm really great, man. I can't believe it. And wee Davey's in the corner going, that was me, I'm the good talk the money that, man.
Oh, that's class.
So it was lovely, it was a beautiful surprise. And I'd like the first series where, I mean, I still write songs now, and I play. That's what I'm doing on lockdown, really, more than anything. Is I've made a couple of wee things, films and that. Luckily, people have asked me to do stuff, and been able to do it for home. But like playing, I wish I'd have played more through the years. You know, I wish I'd have paid more attention to those songs. I was writing stuff for the second series. I was churning it out, man, and I'd need to watch it again. But some of it was all right, you know.
It was
the higher you fly, the harder you fall. And I'm like, oh, I wish I could remember.
There's also that line that Tex then says, and then you start writing it as a song. What does it says? It says something about you've got to you wait and you hesitate until someone steps in, right?
Yeah.
And even that had a ring to it. The many people that have spoken to us about the show have said that, you know, they really enjoyed your music in it. And probably, you know, the thing is, though, in today's world that we live in, I guarantee that if that series was to be on the STV right now, if it was to be played again, right, at a decent time, people would look for your music on Spotify. Guarantee you. You know?
Oh, man, I'm such a waster.
No. Just a missed opportunity, right?
I'm such a fucking waster, man. Man, I had no idea. I had no idea of the worth of like writing music for a thing, you know. I had no idea of the value of that. I just felt grateful because I was just in the game.
Yeah.
So I had no clue. Nobody was really like John Morrison, to his credit, was the only person who he knows his shit, was like, can what are they doing with your music and everything? And I'm like, oh, I've got a job, I don't care. He's like, no, man, this should be making you coin, young fella. That should be making you coin. And I'm like, naive and immature. I'm a late bloomer, man. I'm still immature. I'm nearly 50. Look at the state.
These things happen. I mean, Stephen had said to ask you about what kind of licensing deal you got with your music.
Right, so here's the truth, right? And this isn't to piss anybody off, right? Series none whatsoever, right? It wasn't even mentioned about money for the songs, but the second series, right? I was going through a hard time, right? After the first series, I had to move into a flat and all that. This is it, where I'm going to diffuse any mockery of what happened. Like, so I was, like, my marriage and all that kind of went tits up. And then I had moved into this wee shitey flat, and had the kids and all that. And I was so skint, I had to sell the guitar, right? I had to sell the guitar. And then they commissioned the second series and all that. And I'm like, I fucking don't have a good ask me, would you write some songs for it? I'm like, I fucking can't. The money was that shite. I had to sell the fucking guitar. I didn't even have a guitar to write any songs anymore.
We're pushing ourselves. That's fucking tragic.
I know it is.
That's fucking tragic. So right, well, we'll buy you a guitar. We'll buy you a guitar. And I'm like, right, it has to be the same kind. It's a wee freshman semi-acoustic. Made in East Bride, they used to be, and so, right, okay, but writing this deal, you have to sign this contract. I never actually signed the contract, so I win, right?
Nice.
Comes of this stuff, I never actually, the contract's still in a box in my wallet, Never actually signed it. If you write a wee song or a bit of a song, walk away. Write a bit of a song. For the end of each episode, we'll get you a guitar and you need to sign the rights away for £1. I'm like, aye, no bother. I fucking kept looking at the contract like, no fucking way, man. Signing that. Like, production starts next week. I'll chase him up for that contract. I'm like, no fucking way, man. I fucking won't mail £1. And then I had a discussion about it down the line with somebody, I can't quite remember who, and I was like, because John Morrison was like, no, man, this is worth money, and he's fucking commissioning you to write music, and I've always been a bit shit with stuff like that. So I didn't sign it, I got the guitar, and I had a discussion with somebody from production, and I was like, I can't sign that £1 for all this stuff. I've spoke to other people, and they're saying, well, I'm getting fucking ripped off here, and and they're like, no. I bought you a guitar, and I'm like, I had to sell the other one, because if I never so shit after that series, a bit of balance here. Okay, thanks, Stephen. Thanks for that.
So you then,
It's a good to happen again.
right. So you do technically own the songs then?
Sorry?
So you actually own the songs then?
I fucking think so. I didn't sign anything.
Well,
I wrote them. I sang them. I've no idea how good or otherwise they are, to be perfectly honest, because I haven't listened. I love Smiley Faces. I love where that comes from.
Where does it come from?
Well, the minute I was written, I was fucking not paying attention. I wrote a story.
He's told you.
I tell you the story. I was sitting in my mates, we were knitted.
Fuck, of course.
And I was like,
Mine
Right.
hang on, everyone.
Watch this. This is when I say, Kevin, can you please edit that bit out? And watch this.
No bother, Jordan. I'll edit that out.
Okay, aye. I'll go
10 minutes later. So what did you write it on? I had to say. He's a froze, lad.
We're back. Just
knowing where the story comes from, like or any songs I've written that I love, and I've got a wee bit of a story coming from. I'm feeling a kind of way in the world. The thing just writes itself, really, and that still kind of happens to me occasionally. Not as often as I would love it to, but I'm sure anybody who writes songs would.
Well, there's been no contract signed, so that sounds to me like this man can perform these songs live in front of an audience, eh?
Yes. Not only that.
I mean, I fucking fight somebody if I have to, if I can remember them. If I can remember, like, I would really love to play, like, at least one or two. There's one I sing through the letterbox for Jude's character. And I think I wrote that the night before.
Yeah.
Right.
The night before, a couple of days before, and I knew the scene was coming up, and I didn't really have anything. It wasn't like a typical commission. I think I was aware of avoiding any kind of legalities or obligations. I'm not sure. Allegedly, possibly, that might be libelous, so I don't know if that's the case. But I wasn't commissioned. It was like, it was dead casual, like, he's write a wee thing for that, and I'm like, aye.
Taking advantage.
Well, possibly, man. I mean, it's not for me to say.
Allegedly.
Aye.
Least they can do is let you have your own songs. If
Well, I don't believe they own them. Man. I don't. Nothing was signed. Nothing was like. It wasn't a stipulation in my contract to write music. I mean, I didn't get fucking paid, so no, they're mine. They're fucking mine for sure, man. For sure.
Well, when lockdown's over, we have access to a really good recording studio. Just so you know.
All right, man. Aye, but I've been writing other stuff. I can throw a couple of the new tunes in.
Yeah.
Like fucking burn me. Dylan gone electric. Hey, Smiley.
Stephen actually put us on to your music. It's about cannibalism, right?
Not all of it, man.
Well, I mean, the video is a Barbie doll being boiled in a pot.
Yeah, That was that's a feast of love, man. Right with an amazing actor, guy called Gordon Monroe, who was part of Rain Dog and all that. Like Peter Mullen, fucking all these people, Carlisle, fucking up there, man. But in my humble opinion, up there. Beautiful, beautiful actor, beautiful man. And Gordon, Stephen had started up this thing called Improv Dogs. So we'd have like nights getting together, unemployed actors wanking off, improvising away. And then it kind of said, oh, like, do some music. Gordy plays keys, you play guitar. And I was like, right, it'd be brilliant to do like different sort of genre. Then like we'll have some tunes down, and then when whoever gets up to do an improv round that will be like, right, this is a rock one, this is a blues one, this is a kind of synth pop, this is a prog thing. Right? So they'd know what they were going to get musically. And Gordy and I would just be in my living room, kind of strumming away and humming away. And it was just all manner of wrong stuff came out, man, lyrically. We're just so in tune in a bad way. So that was the first one. Feast of Love's quite epic. I still love it. I still think it's a beautiful song. We recorded a lot of stuff just in my kitchen with my wife recording it, and then she offered kindly to shoot as a kind of video. So it's a kind of weird abstract. Have you seen it? You've seen it?
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird abstract stuff, and then it goes into that kind of black and white fucking thing at the end where they're doing like the Midnight Express stuff. It says fucking boob in the window and all that. It's just like joy. It's a joy, man. That stuff's odds. You know, whether people love it or loathe it, man. It's our wonderful, wonderfully wrong creation.
That's pretty much what our podcast is, whether people love it or not. It's the wrong creation.
It's good that you're doing it, man. I can't tell you how grateful I am that High Times is getting the love, and I'm hopeful, and whatever I can do to sort of help with the screenings of it, I'm up for, because it definitely needs seen again, and just like wee lines that come back to you and again, it just make me piss myself laughing. I mean, it was like our Shameless, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah.
Like, I had a similar, I had potential, serious potential, but unfortunately, the circumstances were like who was putting it on, and like politics around. I don't know, I heard different things, like the second series was about tax and all that. It was like, we nearly won the Rose d'Or, like the biggest television award in the world. Yeah. Like, we were so close to winning that, the BAFTA and all that, and that cast was rocking, man. That cast was hot, you know, Cora Bissett, Connie Strang, young Stephanie just smashing out the ballpark, your Stephen, Alan, Jude, John, Alison Peebles. I mean, it was phenomenal. Absolutely. And I don't really think about it that much. And you lads, this has kind of evoked a lot of sort of nostalgia in me for it. Well, so, thank you.
No, thank you. It's this has been a really recent discovery for us, really. Like Kevin remembers. You remember an advert for it at the time when it was actually on TV. He remembers an advert, but you never seen it.
Never got to see it because back then, obviously, Sky, you couldn't record Sky back then when it came out.
Well, it wasn't on Sky. It was on STV, and it was on a Thursday night, and it was on about 11 o'clock. So they kind of. I don't know what you would call it, man. They were afraid of it because it was like this relationship with Stephanie and Stephen's character, and they were smoking dope, and I think they thought maybe a couple of students will roll in for the pub and they'll watch it. But people that saw it really fucking got it and loved it. Do you know what I mean? And I think we just felt, man, John Rooney's writing, the interactions with all the characters all had their moments together. And it's just beautifully written, man, and beautifully played for the most part. I mean, I was shitting myself. I was kind of on nerves. And because it was my first, because it's a big part for me, do you know what I mean? Yeah. Stephen's in it, and he's got a big career, and he's done amazing things, and I'm just like, fuck, it needs to be, I need to be in this thing with him. It's great, but people going to be fucking comparing us and all the rest of it. But when I think about that now, that for that character, Jimmy, would sort of fish out of water, and he'd stay there, but he sees the world in a sort of different way, a kind of musical, kind of creative sense. Then it was right. Do you know what I mean? It was right, and I'd love to see it again and watch it with fresh eyes. And not so nervous, not so fucking rubbish and that. But fucking, I tell you, like the first thing I saw in the first episode, like my first scene, there's a metronome in it.
Yeah, that's right.
I set the metronome off, and I'm completely out of time when I play the guitar. You know what I mean? That kind of sums up fucking where I was as like an actor and a person, and I try to do this stuff. The metronome was it was John Rennie, he was just pushing himself. I fucking not even on time, man. The song's good.
Like I was saying, I mean, I'm a good bit older than Kevin, and I can't remember it being on. I think it was fucking chronically overlooked and under advertised. And at the time that was it, I'd have been about 20, fucking perfect for it.
Man. You were the demographic, mate, for sure.
What's that?
You look like you would have been the demographic, for sure.
This isn't me, by the way. See this is a COVID cut. I do not normally look like this. This is fucking brutal.
We're all right.
So watching it for the first time recently, I was actually pissed off that I hadn't seen it. I was like, how have I missed this show? It's been about for 15 years, and it's time it gets a bit of recognition. And I think if it was to show up on a streaming platform tomorrow, it would get fucking destroyed. Everybody would watch it. You know what I mean?
It's interesting, man, because it's been on STV Player, and I think the episodes are on YouTube.
Yeah,
I think you're right, man. I don't know how it holds up. Like, is it like dating?
There's certain things, like obviously it's older mobile phones and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The Doritos bag that Frank's eating is like the Doritos bag for way back in the 90s, right?
It's not. I mean, there's certain things that date it, like your fucking haircut for one.
John Comerford special. Fucking blame him. I like that, man. It was like a wee fucking stereophonics, fucking blonde, what do you call it? Fucking Kurt Cobain thing, right? So fuck off. Cheeky bastard.
I mean, who's talking about haircuts right now, eh? Prick.
I know. Fucking hell, man. You check yourself. Do you know the second series? I hate that haircut. Although John did that again, and he made that decent joke, because I just fucking got it all cut off, because we didn't think there was going to be a second series.
How did John do that?
He's a fucking hairdresser.
Is he?
Aye. The hairdressers in the Merchant City called Comerfords.
Fuck's sake. This
Comerfords, just in case you were under any illusions that I was bullshitting, man. It's quite a fucking expensive hairdresser. It's quite a well-kept hairdresser, John. The only thing about getting your haircut off John Comerford is the guy can talk, man. A haircut that should take, well, that was straight, and it's cutting it and that, and he was putting colour in it and everything. So that should maybe have took about 2 hours. I think I was in there all day. All day. And I didn't really know John that well as at all, really. But he offered and done an intro, and he'd offered come down to the shop, man, and fucking made a hair and everything. And I got to know him then, and we bonded, and we'd kind of got to know each other. Just there, sitting doing the hair and everything. Some laugh, man. He's cutting my hair, he's a wee blether to everybody, just a wonderful raconteur, and a good man. So I come off and did both the haircuts. Still got a shop up at the Stravagan, what's that street in town?
All right. That's something we can talk to him about.
Absolutely. Aye.
I had no fucking idea. No idea.
There you go. I don't think you cut anybody else's hair for the show. I think it's just mine.
Where was
careful you're slagging it, right? Because
somebody else not getting paid for something they should be.
I know, I probably got paid more off of them for my haircut than I got for the music. That's probably actually true. I might have to I agree about that. Because his shot wasn't cheap.
Nah.
Well, we want to bring back good memories for you. No, I don't want to make you cry, man. That's no what we're aiming to do here. But
I got this lockdown, so.
So the character Jimmy.
Yes.
When you read the script, did you put a lot of elements aside from the music? Was there other elements of yourself that you brought into Jimmy, or did you kind of try and step outside of who Paul McCole was to become Jimmy?
No, not really. I think there was an element of John Rooney writing the character for me.
Mm-hmm.
Whether I was going to get it or not was another thing, because he's the writer. He's not really. It's like producers and directors and all those people, and John will have to say. But I think beautifully he wrote it with me in mind.
Yeah.
So there was elements of when he got to know me a wee bit better. It was like elements of this and elements of that, and so I don't know. Really, all I was trying to do was just bring a kind of softness to the boy in amongst all that grey and hard and the flats. And I grew up in high-rise flats.
Mm-hmm.
For the first 8 years of my life, we lived in high-rise flats. So I was familiar with that kind of stacked community. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And when reading that, I'm just like, this is so fucking on the nose, man.
Yeah.
And really, I think to this day, when I'm acting or doing stuff, if you get the opportunity, when I'm looking at a character, I look at what the similarities are. Do you know what I mean? Or what we have in common, and then work character-wise out the way. So I kind of did that. I just wanted to be natural. I just wanted to be believable in that role, and not like in small and like not theatrical. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I watched Stephen and listened to him talk about acting, and that was my really only connection with the acting world, man. I didn't have any other pals who were actors or anything. Just was watching Stephen go off and do amazing things, and I'm like, I used to do it. I used to do it as a kid. Could I still do it? And whether it worked out or not would have been a completely different story. But when I got to college, I found that I was really interested in writing. I had been writing songs and stuff, really terrible songs, but when I was in the railway, really shit things, but like to work out tunes and that. And then so the writing side of it was kind of appealed to me, and I'm like, well, if I can't do the acting, if I'm shit at that, I'm totally into learning how to write. And so Stephen and I would do like short film projects and stuff like the Newfoundland Electric Blues, but Newfoundland, but Blackout was one of those. There was tartan shorts, there was all these things, and there was a scheme called 8.5, which Paddy Higson's company ran, and she produced Gregory's Girl and all that.
Right,
Stephen kind of knew Frances Higson, her daughter and stuff, so but I always felt like a wee bit of kind of imposter, because Stephen had worked for these people, and so I felt like I had to kind of prove myself with the writing, and there's creativity there. The acting stuff, say it takes 20 years to make an actor, and I think that's probably true in my case, really.
I watched today for the very first time after speaking to John.
Yes.
I watched Electric Blues, and I was pissing myself. And so it was you, John, and your brother, so you guys wrote it, and Stephen directed it, yeah? That part with the doctor, I need to go and see the doctor, and he's like, oh! I watched myself.
That's wild, man. It's wild. Well, I had an 8-minute sort of thing, idea.
Yeah.
Stephen and I used to watch tons of shots, man. We're like, how did it work? Yeah. What's the fucking, we were learning this on 8.5 and all these schemes and stuff. But this one in particular stood out for me, I suppose. Wasn't a direct fucking lift, but it was about a female writer, and she's got writer's block, and she goes to get a bit of fucking toast out of toaster, and she gets fucking zapped. She gets zapped, and she runs out of typewriter, and she's like, and she hammers out, and then it kind of dries up, and then she's like an eyeball in a toaster. So kind of that's where and my own personal stuff at the time. And so I was like, oh fuck, what if it's about a guy that can't get it up? His relationships falling to bits. Fucking, and his missus is like, right, I can beat it out of the bed, and the lightning hits. Go fucking fix that. Go fix that fuse box or whatever, and then comes back and he's been fucking electrocuted with a lightning strike, and basically what happens is he shags up to death.
Him
because her really originally, because he's like he gets it up and he's kind of banging away, and then it kind of wears off. And she's like, get back up there! Get back up there! Plug yourself in again. And he's like, you just see him getting more and more sort of bump and fucking. So that was kind of what that was the idea, this 8-minute thing where he just fucking bangs, and then in the morning he's kind of frazzled but still kind of going, and she's just like, have you seen the Time Bandits?
Yes.
Right, see like the fucking baddie at the end, just a charred fucking lump of charcoal. But for some reason, the female producers in Newfoundland, they thought it was kind of sexist and stuff, and I was like, I don't think it's sexist. I think it's like, why not? She's demanding the sex. He's electrocuting himself to get a hard on. How's that? I mean,
what?
It's like he's giving her what she wants. It's just that's the. So anyway, I'm like, no. So I was a provy man at the time. I was what you know what a provy man is.
Yeah.
The provy, the checks and stuff.
Exactly.
So I was what. Aye. I was a bad bastard, fucking debt collector, man. Although I wasn't that bad. I used to get loans willy-nilly. So I was out working, and Stephen and John were at the pitch. And I thought it was a great script. What we'd worked on, what we'd developed with John was great. Still kind of had that ending. And Stephen's like that, and they're all going for it. They don't. They think it's like it's like sexist, misogynist, and all that. And I'm like, oh man, it's just that it could be the other way around. You know what I mean? It could. But this is a Sky story. It's why does it always have to come down to that? And anyway, I'm like, no, it's not happening. So me and Stephen, as our want. Well, having a few drinks and that, and fucking blaring away and having a laugh, and I'm kind of a wee bit distraught about fucking not getting this money. So close to getting this money, and it's a big deal for me. You know what I mean? Working as a provy man and all the rest of it. This horrible job and the horrible places and that. Anyway, I've been watching E.T. I've been watching E.T.
That took a turn.
Right, I've been watching E.T. the night before, a couple of nights before, and Steve and I are getting drunk now, and I'm like, kind of laughing. What about this for the ending? Right, I can have bit in E.T. Well, E.T.'s heart, right, comes back, right, fucking, you know, his eyes alive, right, so he dies, But the wife gets in the fucking back of the ambulance, and as she's greeting her the fucking thing, his cock starts glowing like E.T.'s heart. Like E.T.'s heart. There's a fucking howling, man. Fucking never go for that. She's a necrophiliac, that's worse. Fuck it, we'll pitch it, man. We'll pitch it. That's it, fucking it. It's the best I've got. It's the best I can come up with. The E.T. fucking ending, man. Until we pitched it, and it was alright. Apparently, I'm being a fucking necrophiliac that's rode a man to death. That's fine. That's fine. That's alright. That's all good. But anyway, I was glad, because we got to make the film.
She cheated on her husband, right? And then she becomes a necrophiliac, and it's that look on her face at the end where she's like, the door.
Wonderful.
Bloody brilliant.
Jenny Ryan. She's such a brilliant actor, and still a good pal.
That's good. I mean, to be fair, with her in your short film. You really shouldn't need a zap to the dick to get it up, right?
It's very sexist still now. We're talking about old Jenny. Like, no, it's no. I was acting, mate. I was acting. There's all manner of weird fucking feelings going on. It was conflicted to fuck, but I loved all the stuff. John came up with some great stuff, and like conversations with himself in the mirror and all that. And Stephen fucking. Wasn't a gift, but I thought, fucking who better to direct than Stephen and fucking have John, and all felt like that was all part of the reason why I was doing what I was doing. So we had a great crew on it, and kind of got bigger. I had it just like contained in the bedroom and the loft, so it was just bouncing between the bedroom and the loft, and that was it. It was dead shot. So I like the doctor, and into the office with Gary Sweeney and all that. And there's some brilliant performances in it, and it was a great experience. I wish I'd have stuck at it. Not the acting.
You always talk about it like it's in hindsight. The life is still going on. The world is still out there.
Good, man. Young team are running about it, and I love it. I love it, man. I love it. I'm so honoured. People are watching us. I don't even know where you would watch that.
It's on Vimeo. You can
okay, man. Right,
for everyone listening to this, you should head to Vimeo and search up Electric Blues. It's a fantastic piece that, and you can tell that it's got the High Times stamp on it. You can tell that you're involved with it. It's definitely that John Rooney feel to it as well.
Yeah,
and I'm sure that was him that came out his bedroom, right, in the middle of the night as you. That was him.
His missus might have been there as well, Carl. And we were shooting this brilliant big house over at Scarpet Muir End. This guy, John Gorman, it might have been, who does like props and effects. Might be in fucking LA now, John. But it this amazing house. And I was like, I had my working class hang-ups. I'm looking at Jenny Ryan in this house going, they can't going to buy this. But, showbiz, innit? Acting and that.
So
is it all right to say cunt? You bleep that out?
No. J-Mac said a lot worse.
I believe it or no,
Who said worse?
Me.
We had a caller in once. We had someone call in this show, right?
Oh, God.
And they started talking, and Jordan was like, "Yeah, cool." Anyway, well, that's fine. So, anyways, how are you doing, man? And this person was like, "Well, woman, actually, but yeah, all right." And he's like, "That's got off to a great start."
She sounded like a guy, man. There was no, it wasn't one of these ones where I wasn't even sure. Then sometimes you hear a voice, you go, "Is that a woman or a guy?" No, I was 100% sure it was a guy, and I was like, "How you doing, man?" She's like, "Well, woman." I was like, "Oh shit!" I can't even dig myself out of this one. I didn't even try. I just went, "Oh well, this is off to a fucking good start."
How do you do like phone-ins and that then? What's the deal with that? Is you do podcasts and go like phone up and gauge your feedback and stuff?
No. We post a live show on Podcast, which is that's where we distribute this podcast via podcast. And there's a feature on that we can actually host a live show. It's almost like radio, and people will call it and just chat away. People from all over the world. It's crazy.
Tremendous fun.
You ever thought about doing a wee podcast, Paul?
Stephen and I have done bits and pieces, man. And I did like, I'm up with Brian. He's like, I should do the Twitch and stuff. But I did a Limmy show quiz at the start of lockdown.
I saw that. Yeah.
A fucking disaster, man.
You were carrying that show. You were carrying that show. I said that. I was like, do you know what? I thought it was his show because you kept the host going.
He said to me, "I'll offer you some money in that," and I'm like, "All right, should have took the fucking money?" But I was like, "No, tell you what, donate to like some charity that's doing PPE and stuff for frontline workers, but send me a nice bottle of tequila, and we'll call it as long as you let me know how much you've donated." Fucking showed me how much he donated. I was like, "Bastard, man." I could have taken half of it.
Oh, what?
That'd been a nice donation. But anyway,
That's the lockdown now. We will get a bottle of tequila.
no worries, man. That's cool. Anyway, fucking what happened was I did this quiz and I started drinking the tequila. So I got fucking really shit-faced, man. I ended up on there for like 4 hours or something. With a fucking cunt. I thought I was going to go in there for an hour. Right. Fucking 4 hours later, of course I'm steaming. Fucking rattling that tequila. Lovely, lovely tequila straight. And fucking, I'm getting past doobies. I'm like, fucking live on Twitch. Fucking some. And then Limmy come on, and him and I were having a wee bit of living on it. And it was good, man. It was good crack. But I would love to have the technical know-how with the Twitch. I got a wee bit overwhelmed looking at it and what we got to do. What I was thinking about doing, actually, was doing a Twitch thing with Stephen and doing like a commentary on episodes of High Times. So, like when he said you were doing this, I was like, oh, fuck. I'm like, that bastard Stephen's give them my idea.
To be fair, we kind of pitched it to Stephen, and Stephen kind of took it to the next level for us.
I know what
all you guys involved. However, the good news is I have the resources to make that happen for you and Stephen. So if you guys want to do that, I can be the guy that you just don't see, but makes all the wee cool things happen on the screen. So that's something you can look. If you're dead serious about doing that, I can help you out with that in the future for sure.
I would love to do it. I don't know what the broadcast fucking rights and stuff might be. So I'm not looking at rights issues, whatever they may be. But I would love to have that on. Then we could do an episode, me and Stephen and John, just pissing, like slagging each other's rig-outs and hair and all that. I don't want to get any in-depth fucking emotional mining of characters. I just want to give people fucking pelters, man.
Well, that'll be a great.
Do you know what I mean? Like gay actors. Yeah. Aye. So I think that would be more like that's entertaining, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Like you ever hear the John Carpenter and fucking Kurt Russell director's commentary of the thing?
No.
Never heard that.
Do you know what, mate? I've got the thing with that feature on it, and I've never listened to the commentary.
Right. Oh, fucking do yourself a favour, man. The two of them are fucking pissed, man. The two of them are fucking pissed and are just slagging the fucking they're slagging the whole thing, man. It's hilarious. Like his big mad hat and all that. Big massive hat. Got Russell Wells at it, and they're just howling, man. Slagging their face and all that. Oh, it's the fucking best thing on that.
Oh, I'll listen to that. Have you heard Arnold Schwarzenegger's commentary for Total Recall?
No, I haven't.
Mate, this is unintentionally fucking hilarious. He basically just narrates what's happening. So this is a bad way. I put the towel right in my head. Nobody can know, so they can find who I am. Oh, this is when my eyes pop out. It's fucking hilarious, man.
For very different reasons for the kid. I imagine Stephen and I sitting together, getting fucking hammered and slagging each other and fucking everybody else in it. That's how I saw that going. I watched the early one. Do yourself a favour and give the Kurt Russell thing. It's so good, man. It's so good.
Absolutely, we'll check.
What was like a good recommendation?
Aye, for sure. So, going back to Jimmy here.
Yes.
For you, what was the toughest part where you read the script and went, where am I going to get this from? I know obviously there was only 12 episodes, but was there any part of that kind of feeling when it came to playing Jimmy where you were like, this might take me out of my comfort zone?
I think it's just stuff with Jude was tricky. Stuff I was talking about my old man and stuff like that. I think John and I probably had similar experiences. So, like, we spoke up a lot about, like, not really being from an artistic family, do you know what I mean? Not being from a family that there was any other actors in it and all that. Like, subsequently, my uncle sings a bit, and like I've got vaudeville in the family. So, but nothing obviously, nothing overtly there. Nothing in the immediate surroundings. My uncle was down south and all that, so I never really knew what he was up to. But I think the stuff he was talking about his old man, kind of was tricky to do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Really upsetting anybody else. I found that a wee bit tricky. And when I saw Tex sniffing the knickers, man, that was kind of. I didn't know that was going to happen.
Aye.
Oh man, that was David Mackay.
Yeah, we heard that.
That was David Mackay saying, I think John might have been. I don't know, man. I don't know what the background where John was. I don't think it was anything he wrote. Do you know what I mean? Necessarily. Yeah. So Davey's just like, man, I've never met anybody with that amount of energy or just like ideas right. So that was kind of because I was so fresh to the game, do you know what I mean? And not so comfortable. And like now I'm like, aye man, that's the stuff you want. You know what I mean? That's gear at and you can run and play and be. That's where some amazing shit comes. But it just gave me the fear. And when it comes across in the eyes, I was like, what the fuck's going on here?
Aye.
So for me, just in terms of where my experience and stuff was, I was like, I wasn't sure, but I think it works. I think it works. The reaction to it and all that works.
Aye.
Yeah. I don't really remember a lot of the second series, so there might be some really tricky stuff in there.
I mean, that the second series is obviously where it goes down, and you find out that your real life brother is actually the the father of
Cole. Real life brother, co-star, is actually the real guy in my fake Wayne. It's complicated, man. It's complex.
Did you find it hard to have disdain for Stephen when you were acting alongside him? Or was that quite easy?
No, man. No, Stephen's really easy actually, man, to be perfectly honest. There's always, they all wear as wee things they would do, man, like the wee guitar, I'm Jimmy, I'm cool as fuck. See you all right, it's like, you cunt, man. Wee shite. I saw always like respect and a bit of kind of love in that stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, man, I just found like getting into those scenes and those. I mean, we were in the flats, do you know what I mean? Yeah. The place where we were filming, it was you were there, man. You were in it. Do you know what I mean? We were living that shit, really. And we were spending a lot of time with each other, the cast and all that, and the dynamics were kind of similar. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me, looking back, probably didn't really appreciate it at the time. But in terms of like putting something together for no money and getting that set and all that, Carlin, a brilliant producer, to make all that happen, man, you were just fucking in it. You were so in it. Do you know what I mean? You were so in it. We knew those characters, and that kind of, to know Jimmy was kind of, I think I remember John saying he wrote it for me. Whether I was going to get it or not was a different thing, but it gives you confidence and belief and think, well, he's writing that with me in mind. Yeah, so there's not a lot I have to do here. But no, Steve and I are brothers, man. There's times where we've had disdain, but mostly it's all love and respect. I hope. Absolutely. Is that what he said?
Yes, he's only ever spoke highly of you. You can go back and check out the previous video.
I know he did. What did you say about it?
I never had it.
No. Oh no.
Sometimes only if I stutter, I'll be like, I'm editing that. But if Jordan goes off on a rampage and buries someone, I'm like, okay, man. So you're working with your brother Stephen. So this was before Electra. It was. So this would be the first time you properly worked with Stephen, then, like on a set.
Oh, Blackout.
Blackout.
Aside from Blackout, yeah.
Blackout was the first thing, and then we did High Times, and then we played Brothers in a Rebus thing. Flesh Market Close. I played his wee brother. So we get that quite a lot. Who's the youngest and all that? That's why I grew this and all that. Fucking shame. It's a shame for that boy. I wanted my oldest son to have a fucking daughter so that I could walk about with my grandchild. No, I am the oldest. was born first. Stop it.
It's strange. I mean, if you've listened to the previous episodes, we did say to him, like, you guys, you don't necessarily look exactly alike, but I think there are definite elements of each other where you can go, all right, I see it now, or I hear it for sure. But when
Stephen
I watched High Times, I didn't
sound
know.
like each other. You sound like each other.
Yeah, I think there's an element of that. An element of the voices. I think my mum could sometimes phone up and go, Stephen? No, fuck's sake, you're oldest. Remember me? Remember me, Mum? That's a lovely actor. I'm one need to talk to how's the other on pizzas? It was a good drawing, man.
So how do you think you would react if somebody was to turn to you tomorrow and say, listen, High Times is coming back for one last hurrah?
I think it'd be fascinating, man. I think it'd be fascinating down with the time that's passed and what happened to those characters, man. I want to know. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
I want to know. I've got ideas about what Jimmy's been through and where he's at now and how he sees himself.
Yeah.
I mean, oh my God, it would be. I'd love to read it. I'd love to read the script.
Well, see here, John actually had said that, you know, he feels there's still more in him, and recently on our episode, he actually did say that there's a fire lit under him, and he's really itching to write again. So just leaving that out there, and there's this thing called what is it they call it? It was in that book, The Secret. If you will something into the universe, the power of the law of attraction. If you will something enough that it will come, and I truly believe in that. So we'll see how that goes. Did you actually read the script that was never made into an episode? The Stoners. How good is that, right? How good is that?
It's tremendous. It's tremendous. Jimmy's not in it though, is he?
No, he's not.
So as much as I loved it, I'm like, am I going to fucking do my Dutch accent? Right, look at the size. Look at the size of your cock.
Hey, you could have played Yap. You could have played Yap Zai. That's
Yap Zai.
Was that the idea? The idea.
Tremendous.
Stephen said to me the idea initially, when he told me about that script before John had sent it over. He actually said that the idea was to get the original cast to play different people within that episode, if that was ever made an episode, to the point where they almost kind of second guess. You know, is
happening here?
That would have been quite interesting. Do you know, even for like a one-off, that would have been bloody brilliant.
Yeah, man, there was conflict. So many weird things went on around that show, and they were just kind of. It didn't serve it. It deserved to be. It didn't get the respect it was due, man. I feel that John's writing, and I feel that a lot of the performances and what Carlin put into it, and the way it was shot, and Lee Davies' work on it, and Big Justin's work on it, the other director in the second series. I just feel that it was disrespected, man. Yeah. It wasn't appreciated, and so like if John Rooney were ever. I haven't spoken to John for such a long time, man. Such a long time, too long. But if he was to go and do it again, and it would be an honour to bring it back, man. It would be exciting. It'd be exciting to bring it back with however many years it is, 15 or whatever, under our belts as actors and people, and serve whatever John comes up with, because he's a brilliant writer, man.
He is
underrated, I think.
Entirely.
The best. I mean, the one thing that's really kind of notable about the show is how natural the dialogue feels. It's all conversations that you feel like you've actually had or could have. For me, it was Janet and Frank. I've seen a lot of that shit.
Yeah. Tremendous. Tremendous. And a puff and all that, and he's getting down the stairs. Do you know what I mean? It's just me morning, man. And then Tex meets him on the stairs and he's fucking knackered. He's getting down the way.
You know what? I didn't even notice that he was going down.
Yeah.
He's sitting on the stairs blowing out his arse and Tex meets him and the stairs are a killer. He goes up right in front, fucking heads down.
That's the joke. Right.
That's a joke, man. That's a fucking joke.
What a fucking idiot.
Did you not want to play?
See, that's why you need to watch it. That's why it stands up to more than 1, 2, 3 viewings, you know what I mean?
That's true. It's one of the things. It's layered. You do see different things every time you watch it. It's like dodgeball. You've got every time you see it, you see something new, and you go, "How the fuck did I miss that the first time?"
It's so rich, man. It's so rich. It's so beautifully written. It's like Altman-esque. Do you know what I mean? It's just like the way characters drift in and out of each other's lives, and even Jimmy, like when he first sees Tex. Honestly, I haven't watched it for God. It must be over 10 years. Do you know what I mean? But these things stick in my mind. Like Tex is like, most of your songs are about dogs. I like dogs. Do you know what I mean? It's things, man, and it's just beautiful, wee subtle, gorgeous stuff. Man.
See what you were saying about like sitting doing a podcast or a Twitch when you're sitting just taking the piss. The thought of you doing that at the screening is really appealing to me right now. Like you sit at the front with a microphone each, and just rag on half an hour.
No, I just know that it's a great idea, but I think in the comfort of our homes, I just think like respect people's looking at it, going fucking Stephanie. Okay, check the fucking hell, man. I don't know if I would be, if I was steaming, but I could go horribly wrong. So I like the idea of sitting down and broadcasting it. Just because we can sit down and go, right, we've done this beautiful thing to respect it, and now we can tear it apart, man. We can tear each other apart in a loving, just in all from a place of love, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The relationship between Jimmy and Alice, by the way, I think every married man knows how that fucking feels. There's a term that sums up perfectly, and it's like, you know, Mattia's as cold as a mother-in-law's embrace, right? Right, and that's what you see between Jimmy and Alice. Like, did you have something to compare that to in real life, or were you just like, this is how I imagine?
No,
she's got it right on, like.
Alison's a beautiful, amazing woman. But shit, man, when she turned that stuff on, it was, do you know what I mean? It was fucking scary. So I was just like, what the fuck, man? What's wrong with this fucking woman? She's amazing in it. That whole thing of the menopause and all that stuff. It's stunning what she does, man. It's stunning.
Yeah.
You know, she's always been brilliant. Anytime I meet her, I'm just like, I'm kind of in awe. Alison is an actor, you know.
Yeah.
So I was lucky, man. I get married, and my mother-in-law loved me. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I think it's just me. I just fucking love her.
Must just be.
I think it's just me, man. It's just that. So, but I've experienced it subsequently.
Mm-hmm.
I say I was not drawing too much on real. I'm much more now as an actor. I draw on people I know and experiences I've had. Mm-hmm. Then I was just like, kind of, had a wee scream going on in my head because I was a railway worker up until like a year before that. And then I was a provy man trying to write. Do you know what I mean? I had no experience to speak of apart from my life experience. An experience of wanting to be a musician and all that. I kind of always had that about me. And then other actors made it easy for me. Like what I had in my mind was when you're acting, it's reacting. Do you know what I mean? It's not fucking try to. You're reacting to situations. Let it happen. And then like you do in life, you formulate the thought to The only thing is you get John Rooney's brilliant fucking words, but what people are going to see is those wheels turning or what you'd react, and you can only do it if people are given amazing stuff, or you know what I mean, they're generous with what they give you, man. So they fucking bat a ball over to you, and you're like, well, ding, back. There you go. So on that, I mean this from the bottom of my heart. There was the experience on that job. I think probably me and Stephanie were the least experienced actors on the job. You know, and I was like 15 years older than Stephanie. So, but coming for a place, not really thinking, do I deserve this job? Or there's other brilliant actors going up for it, and I knew a couple of them. And I'm like, am I only getting this because of John? And then when I look back at it and I see some of it, and I appreciate more what I did on it. Do you know what I mean? I appreciate it for the benefit of hindsight, and that character and his insecurities and where he wanted to go and what was happening round about, and intimidated by Rab and thinking, do you know, those kind of elements, and kind of intimidated by Stephen as an actor then. Do you know what I mean? I'm thinking, what have I? So there was a lot of stuff going on that was real, that was kind of being mirrored.
Right.
And the character's sort of journey, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I was just kind of living it. I was just trying to deliver authentic, honest kind of reactions to fucking greats, man, as far as I'm concerned. John Morrison and Stephen and Alan, what he was doing, and Alison and Cora and like Tony Stratton, man, these people. My mind was blown because there was so much talent.
Actually, Tony's line when Janet says to him, "You've not gave me an orgasm in 14 years," he's like, "I didn't ken you wanted one." That might be the funniest line I've ever heard. It's fucking, and the way he delivers it as well, he just totally gormless, totally clueless. "I didn't ken you wanted one." I was like, "Oh fucking hell!"
Such a good fucking actor. That's just bringing stuff back to me, and I'm like, I don't want to watch it. St. Louise, my wife was like, she says, "Oh, stick it on, you're going to do this." And I'm like, I don't want to. If this thing's going to happen, I want to be reacting and sort of real time seeing it again, because it's been so long, man. It must be over a decade since I watched it, for sure. So I want to like have that. And I love hearing lines that I'm fucking genius in it. I don't think you wanted one. It's so fucking good, man.
I think that show as well, every episode has at least one line that just has you knotted, right? Or something so simple. Like Eddie, when she was talking about how he's dyslexic and whatnot, and she says that he wrote Eddie loves Alki instead of Alice.
So good, man. Like Stephen with the tea bags and all that stuff. He was bringing so much to that. You know what I mean? The confidence in a boy, I just loved. I just thought, fuck, I'd love to get there as an actor. You know what I mean? I'd love to get fucking fearless, man. And so that's kind of what I aspire to as an actor. Is like indulging in it, you know what I mean? Because we're playing fucking shops, man. We're playing wee hussies, and you can find that. If you find that stuff, man, and you know how to do it, you know what I mean? That's for sure. So I still feel I'm striving to get there. And it was an education for me working with a lot of these people.
And I think when you do,
I'm still doing it. Yeah. Whether you like it,
I think when you look back on High Times, when you watch it back, you'll probably see what we all see. And Jimmy, again, like every character in that show, I've said this to pretty much everybody we've spoken to. Every character on that show is either you or someone you know. And I think Jimmy brings that, because I was that kid with the same kind of haircut as Jimmy, and I've been playing guitar for about 15 years. So that was probably the character that I kind of, and as well, you had morals. A lot of people on that show did, and Jimmy did. Completely, right. And he lived with Tex, right?
Yeah.
So
the sleaziest fucking. uncle a man could wish for.
Here's a question.
He's so good at that, wasn't he?
He was the best. See that scene where you're playing the guitar to him and he lifts his arse up and farts and goes, "That's what you call a bum note." Like, did you actually hear the fart there, or was that added in after?
I'm not sure if John can fart on demand. I'm not a kid. I can't really.
You put that on the CD, like.
He's a talented man, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that was the case. No, but I think the lift in his arse, like, that was a good cue.
They use like a sound effect, but I suppose you wouldn't.
I'm with the cushion. No, that wasn't an accident. I don't think it was a noise. Yeah. No. But it was very funny. There was a lot of laughing on that job, man. A lot of laughing, a lot of coaxing.
We never got to see any outtakes. I don't think they exist anywhere. I know that there are.
There was a show.
Aye, that's right.
There was a show on called, I can't remember what it was, like an ITV's Dirtiest Outtakes or something. So there was a lot of Rab and Jake on it.
Yeah.
A lot of Rab and Jake on it, man. Like fucking sauce bottle wank thing and all that. They did, and fucking they're just pure howling and fucking laughter. But here's a kicker with that, right? Here's a kicker with that. So they were getting paid about 450 quid a fucking outtake. Right? These bastards were getting more money for an outtake on that show than the fucking we were getting for an episode, man. So see when the second series came in, everybody's like, fucking damn bastard. Fucking, like, trying to go out and take fucking daft, man. There's my wallet in it, all you bastards.
Oh, man.
I think they were on here, though, like, fucking times money. I can't even remember that shit. So, aye, we're all fucking eyes were open with that, man. Fucking 450 quid a clip. Fucking bastards must have been rolling in it, man.
Oh, man. And that's just because they're fake, because they were in it, or like who's ever.
Because they were there to go look for shows and for funny outtakes, and there was obviously quite a lot of fucking Rab and Jake had a lot of the funny stuff. Fucking toenails in the mouth and all that, wanking sauce bottles, and they were the fucking Laurel and Hardy, man. You know what I mean? They were the fucking proper comedy leads in it. Really. So they had them. There was rich pickings for a lot of their stuff. And the outtakes are fucking hilarious, man. Let's be honest.
I wish I could see them.
I'm not sure if I'm sure you can maybe get it on YouTube or something like that.
I've searched, you definitely can't. No. I've checked everywhere.
Still game. You made it any still game, man.
Let me get back in there, you. I didn't make any still game, man. Did they have the audition for it? I don't know how that happened. I think Michael Hines, who directs it, kind of just spoke to my agent. I had done like a tag up or something before that. And, so that was it. Just fucking rocked up, man. Put me in a Polish uniform, painted my horn blue. Threatening me a taser, was that right? And that is it, man. That is how that went down. Well, I know those lads. I worked with them a couple of times. I worked on a thing called Deer Green Place.
Yeah.
Which was very sort of parkies and that. I had a great time on it, man. Had a great time. It was the 6th series. I'm sure nobody. Was it series 6? Maybe. I think it was all getting a bit mental. I don't know. It was like a funny kind of thing on set. But I had a good time, man. I had a good time. And people still come up to me and go, you're the guy with the blue horn. That's me, you know anywhere. I've washed it. Look. I've washed it.
Do you get what do you get most? Jimmy, laptop guy, bus driver for Yoker?
Stuff like Limmy's show stuff.
Aye.
Occasional still game. Because they're the biggest things, really. High Times is quite rare, man. And that's a sad indictment of like, the time they put it on at night and everything like that. You know what I mean? I think that killed... Well, not killed it, but it didn't serve it well, man. 9 o'clock. 10 o'clock even. 10 o'clock on a Thursday, I think it just smashed it out
Aye. Absolutely, man.
Smashed it, man. But aye, still occasionally that. You generally want to get really chuffed when people mention that. Limmy's show's probably the thing that's taking me. Like I've got, it's the first time I had like people laughing at me on a tube, and no, just for what I was wearing. Right? Just like, use your laptop, man. Thank fuck. It was just fucking bad vibes, man.
Bet you had a moment reading that, going, folk are going to fucking shout this at me, aren't they?
Aye. I think I was a man at Go with a Job when I auditioned for it.
Right.
I was down there or something. I was like fucking watching things going on at the time. Burniston, Gary Tank Commander, and Limmy's show. It's like, where the fuck man I'm getting seen for that stuff, man? How man I'm getting seen for fucking... really, man? How man I'm getting fucking seen for... Like, Limmy's show was the one I really wanted to do. That was the one I'm like, fuck, that was the one that made me piss myself laughing, man. Totally got the humour, totally got where it's coming from, man. So, really, literally, after having that kind of talk with my missus and that, fucking stop chucking this shite, man. Can't even get seen for that. Can't get seen for a fucking wee part. I got a call. It was cast in the second series, and so fucking read the sketches, man. Read the laptop sketch and all that. I was fucking howling, man. Howling. I'm like, I've got to fucking have fun with this. So went in the audition. Fucking hit it off, man. Made them laugh for the character and that. And that was it. Fucking got the job. Told us we were all bagged for the third series. You're in for the second, man. Nobody's coming back for the third, but obviously, like, what happened, so we got kept going. I'm very grateful. I love the guy. He's a genius, man. So
he's some honour. Absolutely. So before we wrap up,
yes.
Just looking back, how does High Times sit on your Mount Rushmore of the work you've done?
It's right up there, man. It's like formative, do you know what I mean? And then thinking back to the music and all that, and like how Smiley Faces came about, and like it connects so many memories and dots for me. You know, sometimes I think, I wish I was more experienced, and I wish I was a fucking better actor at the time, a better musician, but it all works, man. What I can think of it now and see of it, like, it all happens for a reason at the time it happens, and they were back for a second series, and there was progression in that, and so it's right up there. I think it's like, I love Limmy's show. I love doing that in a sketch show, man. Who doesn't want to do one of those? You get to play something different every week, but like sort of a drama where you get to build a character and go on a bit of a journey with this one guy. That's the best. That's, you know, I've never done a soap or anything like that, so that's the closest that I've been to, like, just exploring somebody and watching them kind of grow and change, and it's got music, and it's got, you know, my brothers in it, man. The guy I kind of looked up to when I was at school, it was for my bit that was on the telly, and a lot of reasons I got into this thing, so High Times is right up there, man. And meeting John when I went to Govan Theatre Works, and being lucky that he saw something in me, and so that's, I mean, it's a pie. I've only done 3 jobs, so it's definitely top 3.
Well,
you've done 22 according to IMDb.
I've done well that, man. Some of them I don't put on there.
I've noticed that. I also noticed that for some reason Gary Sweeney's got 2 pages. He's got 2 IMDb profiles. One of them is Gary with 1 R. The other one's Gary with 2 R's.
Is it the same Gary?
It's the same Gary, because it's stuff that is
spelled with 2, definitely.
Aye, because it's like I think he shows up for A Lonely Place to Die in one, and Still Game in another. And I actually wondered if it was 2 really similar looking guys with the same fucking name. And I was like, nah, that's the same guy.
Well, I'll tell you this, man. I've never set up a fucking IMDb page. Some or Wikipedia or any of that shit, man. There's some fucking sad bastard that's getting nothing better to do with their time. Since I've gone, I'll make up a Wikipedia page for Paul McCole. No, I don't know if it fucking could have been anybody. I'm grateful. I've never done it.
well, you are active on Twitter, and people can find you Twitter, you Facebook. Is there any way you'd like the audience to kind of follow what you'll be up to next? I know you just done something called Hings, right?
I did a thing called Things, Chris McQueer's. So based on some of his short stories, so that was 3 or 4 of them. Did that last year. A fucking great job, man. Great boys, great young team working on it. Joe Haley produced it with you and Denny. So Joe does squad and stuff like that. So that's it there. I've did other sketches with young Chris and Dave who directed that. I did the wee lockdown thing with them, and got a lot of talent, man. And I think I'm grateful that they look to me and go, we'll get him in. He's got a silly looking face. He'll eat a big bag of whelps. and do his own stunts. Have you seen it? Have you seen things?
No, I just the advert, but I'm going to watch it.
I'll spoil it for you. It's worth to watch. Twitter, usually I'm not really on Facebook. Twitter. Hopefully, doing the line Twitch will get it organised, man. So if you're up for helping me with the technical shit, that would be great. I'd love to just sit and get steaming with Stephen and just slag each other. It'll probably end up, man, or just everybody else and laugh, because we do like each other's part.
I'd love to have the 2 of yous on at one time. I'd fucking love that, man.
Aye, for sure.
Anyway, I didn't mean what I said about your hair. Just before we go,
like lockdown. Or
Jimmy's hair. I didn't say anything about your.
I look at that hair and I'm like, I fucking love that. I love hair like that, man. Blonde, fucking Cobain-esque locks, man. I look at it, it's fucking sexy. I get it, Cora. I get it. I was beautiful. I'm a foul fucking man. Look at that. Hot.
You're wise now. That's what I said. Aye. More wisdom with every facial hair. That's how it works.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely. You've been an absolute. What's the word?
Legend.
Legend.
Thank you.
A stoker of a guest. Thanks again for coming on, Paul, and giving us your time to talk about the classic TV series High Times. Again, you're always welcome back on, and we will definitely hook up and do more in the future. We'll get your Twitch sorted, and we will 100% make that happen with the live reunion at the cinema. So it'll be an absolute blast. But it's been an absolute pleasure, Paul, and thanks again for giving us your time. What a guest to have on the show, Paul McCole, ladies and gentlemen. Huge thanks to Paul for giving us his time during lockdown to come on and talk about the show that is High Times. J-Mac, how was that for you?
It was a fun conversation. Again, we've got a lot more to look forward to as well. But yeah, this is one of my good nights, man.
Absolutely. So next episode will be with Judith Williams. She played Claire in High Times. That was Jimmy's missus. So if you haven't already, please do go ahead, click on YouTube, type in High Times Series 1, watch the full series, come back to this podcast, hit subscribe so you can keep up to date, and let's spread more love for the series High Times, because that show deserves the love, and we're going to try our best to give it that. So looking forward to the next episode, and so should you be. Again, thanks for listening to this episode. Like, subscribe, share, and go ahead and find Paul McCole on Twitter and smash that follow button. Again, I've been Kevin Wells. He's been
J-Mac.
See you guys next week.
Also, High Times Season 1 and 2 available on eBay, subject to availability.
Be careful when you come upon smiling faces. Gonna take you places you've never been before.